Hello and welcome back to another Phil's Monday movie review. I'm glad to be here and I'm glad that you're here. And my recommendation for this week is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to spoil the crap out of this movie because this is a movie that I hold very close to my heart. I love this movie so much. I have seen it countless of times. I know it like the back of my hand. This movie is 33 years old. This year, it turns 33 years old. There's photos of my third birthday, and the theme was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the movie. I do remember watching a little bit of the cartoons, but I was like an infant when those cartoons were around. I did later in like elementary school. There were reruns and stuff like that. However, it was all about that first movie where I watched it just as many times as I watched Batman. And this is a movie that I'm very excited to talk about, and we're going to get all into that in just a minute. The reason why I wanted to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and by the way, I have the DVD right here. I've had this DVD for many, many years, but I'm waiting for a 4K release, if there is one. I don't know. If there is one, then I'm sleeping on it and I need to go pick it up right now. But one of the other reasons why I wanted to talk about this movie is because just a couple of days ago, I came across The Last Ronin. This is the latest, I don't know if it's the latest, but it's a comic series based off Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's from the creator, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. And I gotta tell you, I haven't finished it yet, but so far, it is fantastic. I'm in the middle of it, as you can see from the bookmark here. It is really good. It is a whole different story. Don't have that much of a collection of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics, but I was very excited to pick up The Last Ronin, and so far it's really good, and I'm very excited to finish it. I cannot wait. And while reading The Last Ronin, it just took me back to some parts of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from 1990, and it just made me want to make a whole review out of it. So here we are. And now with all that being said, let's get started. Released in 1990 and directed by Steve Barron, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tells the story of 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that emerge from the shadows to protect New York City from a gang of criminal ninjas. And that is basically what the story is all about. If you have seen the movie, you know there's a whole lot more plot details that we're about to get into right now. And let's just keep going with this because I'm going to freestyle this whole Monday movie review. There's no script that I prepared. There's no notes. There's a little bit of notes that I did write down because there's some specific things that I really want to touch on this video specifically. Also, I'm very excited for this video that I even threw on my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirt that I'm wearing. There's Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello, Leonardo. I saw this shirt online and I had to get it, and I wanted to wear it specifically for this video. All right, why I love this movie so much. I'm going to go ahead and just start off with this right now. Nostalgia, of course. I'm very nostalgic about this movie. I've seen this movie so many times. I've been watching it for the last 30-something years. And I know it like the back of my hand. I share so many special memories with my parents, especially my dad. Me and my dad used to watch this movie all the time. We have our own little catchphrases, especially from this character, Tatsu. There's a part in the movie where he looks at a kid and he says, "Go, play." That particular scene is always cool. Like, we always giggled at one another. And we watched this scene a few years ago, and when that scene happened, me and my dad looked at each other, and my dad's like, "Remember, you used to like that part? You used to say that when you were a little kid. You used to be like, 'Go, play.'" And there's other ones too. From Tatsu, of course, when he goes, "Attack!" Yeah, there's videos of little 5-year-old Phill doing the hand gestures that Tatsu does in the movie. Like I said, nostalgia is a big part of this thing, especially because the relationship that I have with my dad is really cool, especially with this movie. Which brings me to my next point, the father-son dynamic that you see in this film. There are many scenes where Master Splinter is talking with his sons. There's one scene where Splinter is talking with Raphael, and they have an intimate moment, and Raphael is listening to Splinter. He's having a one-on-one with his father, and his father is telling him that you need to relax, you need to calm down, because I'm not going to be here forever. And you need to be there for your brothers. And there's a whole nother scene later in the film where Splinter is communicating with the Ninja Turtles through some kind of spirit realm through a campfire. The way I'm describing this scene just doesn't do it justice. It's a scene that you just have to watch because it's a very touching scene. Every time I watch that scene, it hits pretty hard in the feels. I just watched this movie right before I started recording this video, and when it came to this scene, it still managed to give me an emotional suplex because it's still a very touching scene. It's like I mentioned, the whole father-son dynamic. I don't want to get too deep in here, but if your father is still here with us, just spend as much time with him as much as possible. And, because just like Splinter said, one day I'm going to be gone. And getting emotional just thinking about it. Keep in mind, it's a Friday night when I'm shooting this, and I've been having a few of these right here. So there are so many great characters in this film. Let's break it down right here, starting with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themselves. Leonardo, he is pretty much the leader. He is he's got a good head on his shoulders. He listens to Master Splinter. He's right there, the first one to report to him. Donatello is the smart one. And the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, the cartoon theme song goes, Donatello does machines. He's the tech genius. He's also kind of like a goofball a little bit. He hangs around with Michelangelo a little bit, which also brings me to Michelangelo. Michelangelo is the party dude, as the song goes. He is the one who likes to have a good time. He is the embodiment of a teenager who just wants to party. And he reminds me a lot of me when I was 16. And there's Raphael, the tough guy, New York, Bronx guy. He is the muscle of the group. He is the hot-headed one. And he is the one he's the most angstiest one out of all of them. Let's talk about some of the human characters. April O'Neil, bless her soul, she is just a very friendly news reporter lady who helped the Ninja Turtles when they needed help. She's got a great spirit, and she is a great help to the team. Casey Jones, my boy Casey Jones. Ever since I was a little boy, I always thought Casey Jones was just the coolest character in this movie. Not just in this movie, in every movie. I always thought Casey Jones was the coolest character, coolest person in the entire universe. I just thought the long hair, the mask, the way he talks, the way he flirts with April, I just thought it was so cool. Most men look up to dudes like Rocky or James Bond. Me, I look up to Casey Jones. All right, we have got to talk about the villain of this story, the Shredder. In my book, there is Darth Vader, there is the Joker, and then there is the Shredder. To me, the Shredder is up there with one of my favorite villains in all of cinema. Just look at this entrance. The way we are introduced to Shredder, to me, is level iconic. And I just love the impressive camera work that they used for introducing Shredder in this scene. He is just incredible in this. He is menacing. He's actually kind of scary. When I was a little kid, I used to be scared of the Shredder. His voice, the way he spoke. This is your family. I am your father. At 3, 4, 5 years old, that shit was scary to me. Like the way he just dropped right there and just presented himself at the rooftop to the Ninja Turtles and say, I am here to fight you. Let's do it. And the 4 Ninja Turtles together could not defeat Shredder. And that is saying something right there. I just love the standoff that he had with the Turtles when he had Leonardo on the ground and he was pointing that spear at Leo's throat. And he says, weapons, now. Like, dude, that scene is pretty awesome right there. But to me, the Shredder is one of my favorite villains in a comic book movie. When it comes to a villain's motive, the Shredder's motive is pretty generic. He just wants to take over the crime underworld in New York City, and he's trying to recruit all these teenagers to be part of his Foot Clan. He's just building an empire of evil, and that's pretty much all he's doing. But overall, I still think he is a badass villain. Earlier in this video, I mentioned that nostalgia plays a big part on why I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. However, that is not the case. There are many reasons why I love this movie. Aside from nostalgia, this is still a very damn good movie. It's not just one of my favorite comic book movies of all time, but I still think that 30-something years later, this movie still holds up as one of the best comic book movies ever. You have so many movies from Marvel and DC. I still hold this film high up there with Spider-Man 2 and The Dark Knight. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the one where I think it just has the most heart. It finds a way for me to just really care about these characters from start to finish. Not just the turtles, but the human characters as well. I love April in this movie, and I love Casey Jones. And Master Splinter himself, he's also just the best version, the best example of a father figure that I have seen in a movie. There are so many great scenes in this movie that it's hard for me to say which one is my favorite, but I'm going to talk about some of my favorite scenes right now. The very beginning of the movie where Splinter is saying we should probably meditate, and they throw on tequila. Ninjutsu! Well, this is like meditating. There's also another great scene with Michelangelo and a pizza delivery guy. Wise man says forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza. I just love that whole scene. The scene where everybody is in April's apartment, they just toss Raphael through the sky window and he's hurt badly. And then the Foot Clan starts breaking into April's apartment. There's like a whole bunch of them too. And they all got the Ninja Turtles and April surrounded. And then out of nowhere comes one foot soldier with some nunchucks. A fellow chucker, eh? And they just have a nunchuck off. And it's such a brilliant scene. I love that scene so much. I don't care how many times I've seen it. I don't care how old I get. That scene will never get old for me. I enjoy the hell out of that scene every single time I watch it. Also, there's a very touching scene where Raphael wakes up and him and Leo have a moment. So sometimes those two never really saw eye to eye on many things. But what I always really did appreciate is that Leonardo stood by Raphael's side the whole time when Raphael was out cold. And when Raphael woke up, Leo was so happy to see his brother back to normal. And he gets all excited, bring some food. And then he apologizes for what he said. Like I said, this movie has so much dynamics about family and brotherhood and the father and son relationship and how delicate family itself can be. And that's why I just appreciate the hell out of this movie so much. There's also the scene where Raphael interacts with a taxi. Taxi stops. The guy who's riding in the back seat goes, "What the hell was that?" And the taxi driver goes, "Looked like some kind of a Toyota in a trench coat. You going to LaGuardia, right?" Like, scenes like that, I just appreciate the hell out of. Also, there is one of the funniest scenes, and I always bust out laughing every single time I watch this movie, is the scene where Leonardo and Raphael just got into a big argument, and Raphael storms out of the apartment, and Michelangelo and Donatello are in the kitchen just going, "Pork rind?" And Donatello's crunching. Pork rind. Like, dude, come on, man. Come on. And finally, one of my favorite scenes in this movie is the death of Shredder. Well, I don't know if it's really the death of Shredder because he comes back in TMNT Part 2, Secret of the Ooze. But anyways, the death of Shredder. Shredder just falls from the rooftop and lands inside a trash compactor. And Casey Jones, of all people, is down there waiting for him. And he just goes, "Oops!" Opens the lever that activates the trash compactor and just crushes the Shredder to death. And one of the coldest, hardest death of a villain in any comic book movie. Overall, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has a lot of heart and a lot of soul. And every single time I watch this movie, it's not just nostalgia that makes me love this movie. It's just the overall aspect of entertainment, the great message that you have with father and son, family, brotherhood, all that rolled into one entertainment 90-minute flick. And when it comes to a wild idea about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, walking, talking turtles that have ninja skills, it sounds bizarre. It sounds insane when written in paper. But this franchise, this property has proven time and again that it could work. Yes, there has been sequels and remakes that just does not work, unfortunately. But when I come back to the original 1990 film, I have to say that this movie is magic. It's a breath of fresh air. It's really bold. It's very punk rock. And what I love about this movie is how edgy and how dark it was. It was faithful to the original comic book by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. At the end of the day, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is absolutely 100% cinema. But that is it for Phil's Monday movie review and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990. Have you seen it? And if you have, tell me. I want to know, what is your favorite scene from the movie? I think I just told you like 7 of them. But be sure to tune in next week where we talk about another movie. But until then, thanks for stopping by. Take care, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. Also, one more time, Dad, if you're watching this video, I just want to tell you I love you, and I've really appreciated every single time that you and I watch this movie together. I've noticed that we kind of grew up a little bit together watching this movie, and I really appreciated the time that we spent watching it. And Mom, I love you for making the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles birthday party for me when I was like 3 years old, and I just love you guys so much. So if you're watching this, I just want to tell you I love you, and thank you for making me a Ninja Turtles fan. Thank you.